Hello there, we're alterR.studio and really glad to be here virtually with you all. My name is Shihan.
Hello there, my name is Qinqin. Both of us are speculative designers interested in non-human-centered thinking. Today, we will introduce an alternative future of co-living ecosystem. When we talk about futures, many of us are aware of the ecological challenges we are facing. As a response to these issues, some people have imagined different scenarios of us surviving under the severe environment, such as building underwater city or escape to Mars. However, we want to envision a different future that will collaborate with technology to help with nature's resilience, because we believe that we are and will always be connected to each other. Therefore, we focus on biodiversity. Among all the challenges, invasive species is the third major cause of species extinctions. Besides better regulation, we wonder how might we help alternatively. We start to imagine what if we can adapt our food habits with AI analysis to eat invasive species.
Thus, we introduce EcoNut, ecological donut that made out of invasive species locally for our citizens in 2025. For example, in New York City, there's a donut made out of snake catfish, and local invasive species went viral. They had been identifying two connected ponds in Queens, not exactly the nicest looking fish in the river, but it is an excellent fish to eat. The donut made out of all edible parts of the snake catfish, filled with fresh fish jelly in the center, and wrapped with fried crispy fish skin. Each donut has a unique name and a number on its packaging, suggesting your individual contributions and impacts on the local ecosystem balance. If you're a vegan, you can choose this flavor. The base is made out of water chestnut, which tastes like taro, and topped with water Thymes powder, similar texture as matcha powder. The eco-nuts can be sold at the store or even vending machine. The menu is adjusted daily based on the status of local ecosystem. Thus, some special flavor might come fast. EcoNut expands market to other cities around the world, and the menus are all authentic to local ecosystems. The donut shop was so popular, and it led to a new lifestyle choice and a food movement called ecologian, eating for eco-balancing. Restaurants also start providing ecological menu for their customers. Our vision is eventually, with all the efforts of ecologians, we'll be able to co-thrive with our local ecosystems. But how might we engage public into this conversation?
Making speculation tangible and accessible to the public is what we do as a studio. We use future scenarios, experiments, artifacts, and interactive experience as a medium to frame our preferable long-term futures. Our work bridges audience to speculative scenarios for reflection and discussion. And here are some examples. Personal carbon economy proposed an economic model and design interventions into a future of personal carbon cap and trade. It introduced a new currency for carbon emission, as well as a new symbiotic lifestyles with algae and moss. We also created multi-dimensional public engagement through wearable device, tasting experience, and interactive installation. For Future of Breathing, we designed 3 products for residents living in heavily polluted areas. And we had a pop-up event with Easy Tiger Store during Toronto Design Week last year. This monetizable mask is an interactive Instagram filter that we created during the pandemic. It looks into how we may advertise, generate income via a face mask. It's becoming a tool and a medium beyond a health precaution. Back to the EcoNut. We would like to bring them live to the public as well, either through promotional video, dining experience, pop-up store, online subscription services, or something even more special with the help from you. If you are an ecologist, we would like to chat about resources to invasive species database. If you are a chef, we can explore new flavors together. If you are a venue owner, we can bring EcoNut to your customers. And we are also looking for fundings to make functional prototype and bring them to the real world. We're really looking forward getting connected with you. Let's keep the Earth thriving together. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's so important, thinking like your presentation really allows people to envisage futures that perhaps they hadn't imagined before. So I think it's really important work. The thing that was running through my mind the whole time was like the consistency of these donuts. Is it donut or is it fish? Like what if you bite into it, like, you know? So yeah, I'm really interested in that, but I'm going to hand over to John and Janna as well, see if they have any questions or comments.
I was wondering did you mention what they taste like?
You mean which one? The fish or?
The fish donuts in particular.
Oh yeah, I think the fish donut is, sorry?
Are they sweet?
Not really. They're a little bit salty and then topped with a little pepper.
Are they bagels then?
Well, we can call it bagel, but I think for our perspective, donut is some kind of snack that we eat something delight us during our daily lives. And as invasive species is not something that it could be provided as our daily nutrition input. It's more of like snacks, and then it's limited based on the local ecosystem status. So that's we imagine that could be donut, but we can expand the flavor of the donut. A Chinese donut is plain, so it can be different flavors. And then we're also looking forward to collaborate with chefs or bakeries to develop new flavors that is unexpected.
Well, on a slightly other note, I do think it's extremely clever to turn invasive species into food, because that is a completely motivating way to keep the species down again, right? Is to make them prey. And I think that's super interesting. But back to the beginning of what you were discussing, like we're going to terraform Mars, or maybe we're going to go here. And have you, I mean, this is pushing, I appreciate what you've been thinking about, but what about like adopting us? We now have this technology where we're altering the human genetic code. Have we thought about what can we do to make us a little different? I'm not advocating this. I'm just saying it's a fantasy thought experiment so that we adapt to the changing climate. And we tolerate slightly hotter atmospheres and, you know, being underwater or whatever the conditions are that climate change involves. And of course, that means an entire change in our urban planning and our structure of cities. But I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think for this question, our idea is that besides augmenting ourselves, we also care about others. So that's why we propose this solution that we can help with ecosystem resilience, and we also care about the environment for other species, not just us who are surviving, but also like biodiversity. So that's why like in this project, we are not like focusing on just augmenting ourselves, but also thinking about what role we can play in this ecosystem to that like more species can live together.
And I know we don't have tons of time, but I wanted to quickly ask, because you mentioned it, I think this, like, especially the donut, like just plays so well to this idea of a pop-up, especially in like a city like New York. So I wonder, like, have you done them yet, or do you have plans to do it? I know it's a kind of weird time to be doing pop-ups, but yeah.
Yeah, so we were considering pop-ups as post-pandemic solution, but if it's still during the pandemic, I think there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. It could be a subscription gift that shipped to your home, or a gift for your friend. And then we could also develop different alternative ways that is not dependent on the public space or public engagement. But we do really want to bring it to public if the pandemic's over.
Well, we all have that to look forward